The holiday season is the perfect time to give and receive. This December, partner with builders and remodelers and get great savings on any project, plus up to $500 in holiday groceries. And builders and remodelers will make a matching donation to Second Harvest Heartland. Visit buildersandremodelers.com to help give this holiday season.
Couple 13-14 past. I'm Common. He is Tennessee. We're hour number 1 in the books. I'm here tomorrow and Wednesday. Brett Blakeborn for Tennessee. Tennessee taking Christmas Eve off, as is Mark Rosen. We'll be here tomorrow. Still a 1 o'clock start. Is it going to be the Nico Medved show tomorrow? As far as you know?
1 o'clock start, and we should have hopefully spread swing.
Yeah,
at 1:30 tomorrow.
Yeah, well, I think Deuce is in no matter what. Rosen said he would, so we should do spread swing. But right now it's time for 5-3-4.
Time now for 5 questions. Well, actually 3, but 5 sounds like more than 4. Question number 1.
Time now for an in-depth look at the state of hockey.
I'm disappointed your first question wasn't about the Idaho Potato Bowl, which is starting right now. It's just underway.
Of course, on the blue and orange field.
Yeah, Washington 6-6. Washington State, Utah State 6-6. One team will be 7-6 at the end of the game, and the other team will be 6-7.
6-7.
What you got?
The Wild's 7-game winning streak came to an end with a 5-1 loss to Colorado yesterday at Grand Casino Arena. It also snapped their franchise record 14-game point streak on home ice. Common, any reason to be concerned after the Wild's loss to the Avs?
Someone texted the Bradshaw and Bryant KFAN text line during that last break after you teased 5-3-4. Said it's not that the Wild played bad, it's that the Lanch are just that good. Would you agree with that? Or was the Wild off their game a little bit? And does the Lanch dictate the Wild?
Yeah, I was going to say, the Wild didn't look like the same team, but I think a lot of that is based off of the team they're playing. But, on Black Friday, they played Colorado and they skated right with them. I mean, they ended up winning in a shootout, if I recall. But just from a game pace tempo standpoint, in terms of offensive possession, it was very similar. Whereas this one, Colorado was clearly the better team throughout that game yesterday. And Colorado's always been able to, let's face it, I mean, offensively, they have the elite of the league, elite in the National Hockey League. And some of the goals they had yesterday were unbelievable. But also the Wild really didn't get, other than a Boldy breakaway shorthanded that he missed on, they didn't really create a lot of offense and create a lot of chances. So credit to Colorado's defense as well.
Since the trade for Quinn Hughes.
Quinn Hughes.
I checked the box scores. Helpers and goals don't always determine how a guy plays, but does he have one goal for us and one helper? There was nothing.
He scored the first game, yeah.
Yeah. Is that anything?
Yesterday's game was the least noticeable he's been.
Okay.
He's still elite, though. I mean, he's,
okay.
Part of getting assists is you need other players to finish on those assists, right? Like you can put someone in a good spot as much as possible, right? Like J.J. McCarthy can throw it right into his wide receiver's hands, but if they drop the ball, it looks like an incomplete pass from J.J. McCarthy, right? So there's always more to it than stats don't tell you everything.
I'm not going to throw a wet blanket on Wednesday because it's Christmas Eve. You don't throw a wet blanket on Christmas Eve. On a wet blanket Wednesday. How about if I throw this at you? We were pretty good before we got Hughes.
They've been pretty good after Quinn Hughes.
Right, but did we need him?
Yes.
Did we?
If you want to make a run to the Stanley Cup, yes. They got better with Quinn Hughes, and it's not even close. Until the Colorado game, they were beating everyone by 4 goals. It hasn't even been competitive. Colorado's they're literally on pace to be the greatest National Hockey League team of all time based off their record. It's an elite team.
We had a great November before we got the kid.
We've been great since we got him.
I know, but we gave up 4 number 1 picks. to get him. And
Yeah.
he might not even stay.
And he might stay and bring you a Stanley Cup.
So could Bouillon.
Possible.
Really possible.
I think it's more likely with Quinn Hughes, but
That's what we thought about.
it's still possible.
That's what we thought about with Parisi and Suter, too. I'm just throwing it
I
out
thought you
there.
were all for bringing in
Well, I'm not
the
saying
elite
I
of the
wasn't.
elite.
I'm not saying I'm not all for it. I'm just saying I'm just doing the devil's advocate stuff. Could you make an argument? We were as good as any team in hockey before the trade, and we're still as good as any team in hockey after the trade, so was it even necessary? I don't know. We'll find out as time goes by.
I'll take my chances with Quinn.
All right.
Question number 2.
It's now time to take an in-depth look at the welfare of the Wolves.
The Wolves overcame a 16-point deficit early in the third quarter for a 103-100 win over Milwaukee. Rudy Gobert had 11 points and 18 rebounds, which put him over 10,000 boards for his career. Ant led the Wolves at 24 points, but he did it on only shooting 7 of 24 from the field. Conway Sixouchi from the Wolves squeaking by the Milwaukee Bucks.
Well, you conveniently ignored, because you're a part of the hockey community rather than the basketball community. They beat the Oklahoma City Thunder on, was that
The Friday night?
Friday night? They beat OKC. More on that later, because that's, I can throw a wet blanket on anything, even beating OKC, which I'm going to do. What I liked from that game, Tennessee, yesterday, and I didn't see a second of it, but I can still tell you what I like. Again, I go to a quote from the game from the aforementioned Rudy Gobert. He says, quote, "It happened so many times when we win a big game, a big emotional game, and then we play a team with not the same record and we don't come in with the same intensity. We were prepared for that. They've learned a lesson, at least for a game. Hey, guess what? You got to play hard every game. You really do. It's easier to win more games when you try really hard all the time." So they came off a big game against OKC because they seem to get up for the teams that they think are worthy of their preparation. Other teams, you're just not worthy of us putting our best foot forward. We can beat you with one arm tied behind our backs. And more times than not, they don't beat that team with one arm tied behind their back. So maybe they've learned something. So I see that quote, and I like it. Also, they were behind in that game, though, Tennessee. They were down 16 in the third quarter.
Mm-hmm.
But here's what it says, Fish Wrap Factory West Side. The Wolves went on a 23-2 run as Coach Chris Finch tweaked his lineup in the third quarter, with Mike Conley playing for the injured Jade McDaniels and Naz Reid subbing in early for Julius Randle. Finch said, "Just needed to change it up. That lineup just wasn't working. So I just wanted to change it up. Go with Naz out there, and that's it. Sometimes you got to do that." I like that. Because you wouldn't necessarily think Randall's one of your best players. He's one of your two best players, right? Game in, game out.
Yeah.
If you were in a game, Tennessee, if you and I were going to play a pickup basketball game and we got to choose from the 15 Wolves players, and you had first pick, my guess is you'd take Anthony.
I'll take Ant.
And I would then take Julius Randle, right? I mean, those are your two best players on the team. But it wasn't working. Sometimes it doesn't work, and guys are laying out a line. Guys are training. And so we changed it up. And then it says, Conley helped the Wolves generate good ball movement after a choppy first half against Milwaukee. He had 6 points, 6 assists, and 5 rebounds. The 38-year-old returned from a 4-game absence because of an Achilles tendinopathy. That's not as serious as testicular torsion, right? We learned that last week. He thought he might only play 8 minutes. He played nearly 24. Here's what he said. "Really was just trying to make the game easier for everybody. I thought that we were making the game tough, settling for a lot of shots that we weren't just like, we can make them most games. We weren't making shots early, and they played a zone a lot of the time. And at that point, I was just trying to get in the paint, find guys, start the blender a little bit." And see, that's what veteran players do bring. It's too bad that Conley couldn't turn back the clock physically about 5 years, right? Because he knows the game, he understands the game, he knows how the game plays, and there he was able to play 24 minutes. God, if they could get 24 minutes, because isn't that one of our issues? We feel like we don't have a point guard. I mean, Ant was going to be our point guard, and he could probably do it. I mean, but he's better, I think, as the shooting guard. Wouldn't you? Don't you think?
Yeah.
That's his position better. It's too bad if we could get that kind of out of Mike every single night, but he's 38 years old. But if you could get that would be better. And then the coach not afraid to change things up and insert guys in the lineup. That's what I like about that. And then they beat OKC too. But I think you can only play certain cards so many times, and I think we played 110. I'll explain other side of the break. That's a little 5-3-4 for you here on the Common Man program.
And that's it for today's edition of 5 Questions. Well, actually 3 questions, but 5 sounds like more than 4.
First Avenue's Best New Bands is back. January 17th, see the future of Minnesota music. Mother Soki, Sally Forth, and Sophie Hiroko, and many more. Doors at 6:30. Get the full details on the events calendar at KFAN.com.
Couple 13-14 pastime common. These tend to be no Kevin O'Connell today. He usually has a day after the game news conference, but I think he's shifting it to tomorrow because in a short week they're playing Christmas Day. And that would mean there'd be 2 news conferences. There's usually one on a Monday and one on a Wednesday, so I think they'll just have one that will be all-encompassing. We'll hear from him sometime tomorrow. Did you say it was 1:15 was the scheduled start, I believe?
Yes.
On 1:15.
So we'll probably only carry it if it's on time, which is probably unlikely.
Yeah, but let's hope that it is because we have spread screen to take care of as well. A couple of text messages have come in. This one says, "Me boy, nice of you to back off on Wednesday and not be a wet blanket, but why make it a mood killer Monday like that? Well, a 4-1 since his arrival. And before the Avalanche game, the Wild outscored their opponents in those 4 wins, 21 goals to 6. I'm on the Jolly Green Giant side. This is by far, and he has far capitalized, the most talented lineup the Wild have ever had. Looking forward to seeing Rosen make it across the river to Grand Casino Arena once the Wild are in a deep run in the playoffs." And then he wants me to add this. Quack, quack. I'll remove the interim label guy. Well, I decided, let's see how the Canucks have done since the trade. They're 4-0.
Yes.
So now, last I checked, 4-0 is better than 4-1. Last time I checked. Now let's see. Ooh. What's Buyam's first name again? Zeev. Well, in his debut with the Canucks, he scored a goal and had an assist. Oh, that's pretty good. Yeah, like that. Ogren and Rossi, nothing. See, our next game was Tuesday, December. Well, look, after beating the Devils 2-1 on December 14th, they shut out the Rangers 3-0. See what our numbers look like in that game. Ogren, wow, he had 2 shots on goal. He had a goal. That was one of the guys that we included in the trade, wasn't it?
Yes.
Well, that's nice. See what else? Rossi didn't do anything. And then Buyam did not do. He had a shot on goal. Let's see our next game. Beat the Islanders 4-1.
All on the road, by the way.
Yeah, they're all road games. Oh, boy. Let's see what happened there. Again, they didn't do anything in that game. And then we'll see. Oh, and then they just, Saturday in a shootout, they beat the Bruins 5-4. Let's see what the numbers look like there. Ooh, Ogren had 3 shots on goal. He had a goal and an assist.
I think he scored in the shootout, too.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh, and Rossi, he had an assist in that game. Huh. So it sounds like those guys have been playing pretty well. Canucks are 4-0. I'm just saying. I'm not saying. The Canucks record is better since the trade than the Wild.
You don't want to factor competition at all
No.
in that?
Well, you know what? They don't put the other teams' rosters together. Well,
Canucks needed a shootout to beat the Boston Bruins. We beat them 6-2.
was Boston on a back-to-back against the Canucks? Were they traveling time zones? Did they have circadian rhythm? Did their jet have to come back because of...
We were on a back-to-back when we played them.
What was the... did we come back because of mechanical issues?
Lost yesterday was on a back-to-back.
Yeah, but they were off. So that means that Avalanche were rusty. Would you rather just continue playing, especially when you just keep winning games? You outscored your competition 21-6 going into that game. You want to just keep
Sounds
playing.
like they're doing well.
Yeah. Except yesterday.
That's against a historically good team.
All right. That's what you want to say.
Let's check out Vancouver's schedule to see if they play Colorado at any point.
Oh, and then there's this one. The Jolly Green Giant got really defensive about the newly acquired defenseman. He turned on his Ex-Hughes computer. That's good. Okay, Larry Mandela guy. Ex-Hughes computer. Not excuse, but Ex-Hughes computer. I like that. That's really good. We'll have to use there. And Ogren was just a throw-in in the deal. And now he's turning, you know what he's saying? Let me show you what you're missing. He's inspired.
Just need a little opportunity.
Just needed a little opportunity there. So
he had nowhere to play in this lineup.
Yeah.
We were too deep.
Here's another. Canucks are undefeated since we mortgaged our future for Hughes. Well, there it is. Here's one that says, hit the wrong button. Sorry, you know me, I'm gave up a lot of future All-Stars for the mighty Quinn, didn't we?
He's a future Hall of Famer.
This one says, Wild fans right now, why is Common the way he is? It's just
I
because,
always love
I'm a
that
gadfly. That's what I am. Are we sure that Quinn Hughes is a good fit on this Wild club, much like Ohtani wouldn't work for the Twins? Well, that's, there's always that. I don't think Ohtani would have quite fit in with this team. Here's another one. Hughes isn't scoring. I don't care if we win 2 cups. I'd rather have the potential of Bouillon, Rossi, and Otto Graham than the underperforming Hughes. I think Hughes is underperforming.
I think he's been pretty good.
This is going to go down as the worst trade in the history of Minnesota sports. No, I'm just having. Why am I this way? I am just playing devil's advocate, though. I mean, it is true that we were really good before the trade, and we might be better. It could very well be this guy will make us a lot better.
They've been really good since the trade.
I know.
They're 4-1.
I know, but they were 23-2 over a 25-game stretch without him.
If you extrapolate 4-1 over the rest of the season, they will be the best team in hockey.
If it works out that way.
Yeah.
Extrapolation doesn't always work that way. When the Lions were 4-1 at one point this year, if you extrapolate that out, they were about to finish the season.
Clearly we're not going to extrapolate out. My point is just, this has not been a disastrous 5-game stretch with Quinn Hughes.
Well, nobody said that, but we're just saying, my point is, did we really need to make the trade in order to get the kind of results? When we look at them, we had a historic month in November. It was historic. Historic. And everybody says Bouillon has got a chance maybe not to be quite as good as Hughes has been advertised. I haven't seen it yet, but of course I haven't watched the game either. But how do we know that Bouillon, give him another year or 2, would have been just as good as Dylan Hughes?
Quinn Hughes.
You're right.
I mean, there's no doubt when you look at the trade with Vancouver, if anyone makes this trade go south for the Wild, that's going to be Z Bouillon. Right? Like Ogren, I know he's put the puck in the net and is getting more opportunity in Vancouver, but I think he's going to be a third line NHL player. Marco Rossi's a quality forward.
I like him more than most people do. I don't know why.
The biggest game changer in the group is Quinn Hughes, and the only one who has potential to be a game changer is Zeev Buium. The other two aren't going to become game changers. They are NHL players that you can find.
They thought we were going to screw them when we traded Zeev Buium. There's a chance there.
I think it's a win for both teams.
All right. Well,
you can have a trade where both teams do well.
Let's see. We'll play it out. We'll see. Just throwing it out there. Just for people something to chew on. And you can wash it down with eggnog and have a little peanut brittle. It's that time of year. You know what? I think Mary was upset with Joseph. I mean, they roll into town, Bethlehem, on a holiday without a reservation at a hotel. So they end up having to stay in a manger. I'd be annoyed about what was he thinking?
She's pregnant.
Well, yeah. It makes no sense. You got to make sure you have a reservation. It's just crazy. We'll break. We'll come back with a little Disc Out Loud right here in the van.
Hockey fans, the IIHF World Junior Championship is set to take over the state of hockey. We got your tickets to the action all day. Use the TalkBack feature in the iHeartRadio app right now to tell us why you want to see Team USA in action. Winners will be selected all day for a pair of tickets to see a Team USA preliminary round game. Get the full details now at KFAN.com, keyword contest.
You've got to be kidding me.
We don't go nowhere. Next question.
I mean, it's like, hello?
Sorry about that. I was on hold trying to get a reservation for Bethlehem. How could you go to a metropolis the size of Bethlehem on a holiday and think you're going to find a suite with a king bed? I just don't think it's going to work that way. Here's a text message that came into the Bradshaw and Bryant KFAN text line. Were you disappointed that your Thunder lost to the Timberwolves? Here's what it is with me and the Thunder. I've taken a page out of Tenebee's book and a lot of other people. Tenebee, you like Kansas City and admire them. And you like seeing them win, right? Because you like the
I like the way they play. Yeah.
And you like the excellence of Pat Mahomes and Andy Reid.
Yeah.
And how about Tom Brady? Were you another one of those guys?
Not really.
I thought you didn't. I thought you were one of those guys.
No, I'm not a big. I mean, I respect him as a quarterback, but I wasn't.
Because I know there were a lot of people that liked I'm getting to watch brilliance, and they had no problem with Tom Brady. And I've always been, well, yeah, I can admire what they do, but I don't want to see them win year after year after year. Well, the Oklahoma City Thunder just won their first ever world championship. And I admire what they do. The Oklahoma City Thunder and SGA, to me, are the NBA equivalent of Pat Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. What's wrong with admiring that? I just hold them up as a shining example. They're not necessarily my team, though I don't mind seeing them win because they approach every game as if it means something, and it does. They are poised, they're polished, and they were professional. Wolves won, but this is what I teased earlier. If you'll remember, Was it the Vikings who had the team captains? The coaches were out of the room, and the team captains all did some kind of pep talk earlier in the season.
Oh, the Wild did that.
Was that the Wild that did that?
Maybe the Vikings too.
But that was the Wild that did that, right?
Yes.
Okay. That's great. But how many times can you pull that card? What was the one that couldn't have been the one I was talking about then? There was another one earlier we talked about. One of our local teams made some kind of a big deal and they won. I said, well, there goes that card. I know the Vikings did it. I go, well, there goes that card.
Well, the Wolves had like a dinner, didn't they?
That's not the one I'm talking about, though. This was during, that was before the season started. This was maybe the Wild, maybe the Wolves did it as well. All I know is here's what happened in the win over Oklahoma City. Give me a second here. Chris Hine writes for Fish Wrap Factory Westside, beat writer for the soon-to-be big game, or the soon-to-be NBA champion Minnesota Timberwolves. He writes, after the Timberwolves 112-107 victory over the Thunder on Friday night, coach Chris Finch stood next to president of basketball operations Tim Connolly and both greeted players as they came off the Target Center floor. Anthony Edwards came by and gave a quick dap to his coach, and Edwards walked down the hallway talking to a team camera. We fed off Finch's energy. Finch walked on a ramp to the left of Edwards, and Edwards wondered if that was the first time Finch had been ejected. Edwards forgot about January 30th at Phoenix last season when Finch got ejected for referring to the officials as bozos. Chris Finch got ejected, Tennessee, from the game against the Oklahoma City Thunder. Players said Finch's timing was perfect, that it gave them an energy jolt they needed and inspired them to keep fighting in a physical defensive first battle. The Wolves won by scoring the game's final 8 points, with Edwards hitting a go-ahead three-pointer with 38.5 seconds to play. Naz Reid, who had 15 points, said, that fueled a lot of fire in us. It was exciting to see. Obviously, he was into the game, so I don't think it was a stunt. Stuff like that, you want to fight for someone who is fighting for you. Added Dante DiVincenzo. He gave everybody energy, not just us, but the fans. You shouldn't have to do that. Aha, the key. Somebody recognized it. You shouldn't have to do that, but you could tell, like, from that moment on, they controlled the next 4 or 5 minutes after that. Then we settled in. We took the energy that was in the arena. Shouldn't have to do that. Finch can't get ejected before every game now. That won't work. Eventually, everyone's going to know it's a stunt. And it worked, and that's great, especially in a game that you're playing the best team in basketball. There's no argument they're the best team in basketball. You can't argue that. They might not end up being the best team in basketball at the end of the year. Right? Things change in the National Basketball Association. There could be a completely different team hoisting the Guy Lombardo. It could very well be the Minnesota Timberwolves hoisting the NBA championship trophy and hoisting a banner next November when we open the 2026-2027 season. But when you got when a coach has to resort to that, and there's so many stories. Where was I had another quote here. I just paraphrase. He says that he believes that the Thunder get an inordinate amount of calls, right? And everybody thinks that, everybody hates SGA in this town. And instead of, I admire him for his ability to play basketball and to draw a foul. I guarantee you this. If he was playing for our team and doing that, we'd love it, right? Fans would just be eating it up. Got him again. Do you think there is a fan in any NBA city, Tennessee, that if their player was attracting fouls like that, scoring the amount of points he is, and winning you a world championship, do you think they'd be going, I don't like this guy, though. I wish he'd stop doing that. If you're being honest with yourself, you don't believe that in any way, shape, or form.
I will say, and it's not the exact same, it's a little bit apples to oranges.
Okay.
But Karl Anthony Towns, when he was here, there were a lot of people, including myself, that would complain about his style of play and like constantly complaining to the officials and whining. So I do think there are some personality traits. Now, he's not on SGA's level, so I understand it's not the exact comparison,
Right.
but he was, an all-star player here, and not everybody universally loved him because of his personality and the way he played.
Well, that's their fault then. That's a foible, and that's a problem with the fan who has a problem with his personality. He gave everything. He's been the most, other than, now Ant is taking over for that, but other than Garnett, Towns is the most important player to this franchise has ever had. Now it is. He's top three. If there's a Mount Rushmore, he's one of them. He gave everything he had every single game, did things for the community. Everybody complains about I know what you're saying, but I wouldn't have a problem with that. To me, it's no. I'm on the other side of that. Finchy said, where is the here's a Finch said. Ideally, whether it shakes out to be 47 free throws or 27 free throws, you just need the game called in a way that's even on both sides. That's everybody's goal in this game. Maybe there's 57 free throws that could have been shot in that game last night. Who knows? I don't know. I'm just trying to bring some intensity to the moment and have everybody react and respond to it. Ideally, whether it shakes out to be 47 free throws or 27, you just need the game to be called in a way that's even on both sides. So, in other words, if one team is more aggressive and picks up 3 or 4 fouls early, the referee's supposed to go, well, I better start calling them on the other team so it's even. That's the most preposterous thing I've ever heard in my entire life. Don't you agree with me, right?
Well, it depends on how he's using the word even, right? I think the way you are interpreting it, I would say, yes, that's ridiculous. But if his version of calling it even is, hey, if you're going to call this specific foul on OKC, then you need to call this, or if you're going to call this specific foul on Ant, then call this specific foul, right? Okay. That like they're getting a different set of rules as to what's a foul and what's not a foul.
Okay, so you're right. That's probably what he did mean, because when I saw that, my jaw dropped. It's like you can't just try to even the score because, people think referees do that all the time.
Yeah, they always say, call it both ways.
Yeah,
it's like,
call it both ways.
You call it the way it's supposed to be called.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, maybe that all right, then I'm all right with it. Because I was looking at that and I was going, well, that's just insane. Because you can't call it both ways if it's not called both ways. I also believe, I think I'm in the minority here, and maybe it's because I'm not. It doesn't, the results of the games and the fandom, as much as I like the hometown teams to win and get a kick out of watching occasionally, it doesn't mean as much to me. So I think fans and players, have you ever seen an NBA player think he didn't get fouled or I didn't foul him, right? So it's like, it's a hard game to officiate. Would you agree with that?
Well, and it's the hardest, and half of them are trying to draw fouls and making it look like it's a foul, and it wasn't.
Yeah. So to me, sometimes I don't even know if it's. People think it's favoritism. They call it, like, who are the guys that think it call? LeBron gets calls all the time, and Steph gets calls, and this guy gets calls. And well, I don't know if that's really necessarily true. Guys like that, guess what? They're handling the ball more than other guys on the floor. They're shooting more. They should be guarded more intensely, right? So, to me, that just means they are going to be fouled more often. if you have the ball in your hands as often as the star players do in this league, the SGAs, the LeBrons is, the Stephs is, the Doncic's is, you're probably going to be guarded more closely, and they're going to be in your face. And so I just think it's, now you can put Ant in that category, and I think there are people that think Ant doesn't get the benefit of the doubt, and maybe he doesn't. I don't know. I don't have in front of me a list of players for not only for this just year, but their career. How many times have they been called for a foul, or you've watched them and go, well, they should have had a foul called. I don't know. I don't think refs.
I think.
Do you think they do it as often as people think? Do you think like LeBron always gets all the calls, and that's the way the league wants it?
There are certain players who get the benefit of the calls more than others. Yeah. I do agree with that. I saw some Wolves-related writers on Friday night speculating almost as if this was, because it was just a couple games ago where Victor Wembanyama basically said, hey, they don't play with morals and ethics, right? Like that they're trying to foul bait all the time.
Yeah, right.
He didn't say it in those words, and that this was almost like orchestrated by Finch to let's get the spotlight on OKC now, and let's have this become a league-wide. Let's get the magnifying glass from the league on OKC, so come playoff time, that keeps building up. And then the narrative around OKC is they get all these calls all the time, so come playoff time, that'll start to even out a little bit.
Well, that could be, and I guess if you really believe that, and I think people feel officiating is a big problem in the NBA and the NFL. And I think you and I, while I should speak for you, while I tend to agree that there are a lot of botched calls, it's because those two games are hard to officiate. Basketball, so, it's 10 guys on the floor, up and down, guarding, this. And in NFL, there's 22 guys slamming around at each other.
In the NFL, I still don't know what's a hold and what's not a hold.
Exactly right. Yeah, exactly. I said it to Deuce last night. We were watching the game. There was a time Goff had a clean pocket, and I said, this was against my team. And I said, do you think any guy on our team was holding there right now? And I said it for the other team, too, because that's just the way it works, But, so, getting back to my main point, that obviously, I think the coach picked the right game to do it, because you want, if there's any team you're going to need to pull out every trick in your bag, your bag of tricks, it's going to be OKC, because they are the best team in basketball. For now, that could change, but as of right now, they are undoubtedly the best team in basketball. So,
how about OKC? They have 3 losses.
Yep.
First loss, they lost by 2 points.
Yep.
Second loss, they lost by 2 points. And the Wolves beat them by 5. So the Wolves have the best game against OKC all year, a 5-point win.
That is correct. And so, if you've got to dig deep into your bag of tricks, that's a good team to do it against. But as I say, I don't know if he can do that again and again and again. You can do that once a year, maybe twice, and after that, the players are going to kind of see through it. The fans are going to see through it. The refs are going to see through it. Go sit down, Coach. I know what you're up to. Just go sit down. You want me to eject you? I will, but it's not that big of a deal to us. And as DiVincenzo said, it shouldn't have to come. That's my whole issue with much of what the Wolves have done this year. And look, that's a nice win against OKC. It goes in the win column. And if the coach getting himself ejected was the impetus to play harder, that's the right word, and to take out OKC, that's good. I'm all for it, but does that happen the next night and the next?
When you're playing a 25-2 team that knocked you out of the playoffs last year, like that shouldn't be what you need for motivation.
Right. That's exactly that's it. And so we'll see how it goes. I mean, but yeah, I'm not. The Thunder's not my team. I just admire them. I really do. OKC to me is what Kansas City used to tend to be, and a lot of other people. There are other people that love, and I understand it. That's why it's not that I don't appreciate what the Mike Jordans is of the world's doing, the Pat Mahomes is, and the Tom Brady's is. It is. It's. I've seen it. It's cool. Yeah, they are. That's why they are. When you talk about them, you say their names in hushed tones. Tom Brady, Michael Jordan, LeBron James, and I get that, but it's after they win, I like it spread around. Like, I love the NFL this year. There's a lot of new teams that haven't done anything in a long time. There's some really good. We talked about some of the interesting stories out there. Even Green Bay, as much as I despise them, that's a team that's on the rise, man. That's a good defense. Good offense. Hell of a quarterback. The Bears, with the story they've been writing. San Francisco's a good club. Seattle. That's a great division. They are the NFC West is what the NFC North was last year, right? Last year, the NFC North had 3 really good teams. Now the West does. AFC, they've got some good stories over there as well. So, yeah, when it comes
NFC West is a good reason why you want the 4th place schedule instead of the 3rd place schedule next year. Difference between playing the Cardinals or the 49ers next year.
Yeah, there you go. That's exactly right. And that does make a difference. We've learned that. So, we'll see. Here's a text message. Although you might not like their effort, the T-Will still won, which you did acknowledge, but how about the dagger shot by Ant-Man? That was so awesome. It was a great shot.
That was as well defended as you could ask for.
Yeah. But that's why he's considered one of the best players in the world. And here's what I'll tell you. I bet there were 4 to 5 others just like it that night. The NBA's full. It's like the NFL. How many exciting finishes can you have? Bears versus Packers. Seahawks versus Rams. Vikings versus Giants. Okay. We'll stop at the first 2. Let's take a break, come back, 1 more hour to go here on the Common Man program. Common at 10 to be here on the Fan.